Hey, we are live for the Outlier show. I'm getting notifications up the wazoo. No one's here yet, but we're going to talk a little bit of Monday Night Football. Scott might join me, as the good friend that he is, and just jumps on here just to do some banter. If he is, he is. If he isn't, he isn't. But we're going to talk through Monday Night Football. What's this? He says, we can talk NFL anyway. What is it? He just texted me. We need the link. I thought I sent it to you. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Whoops. That is, sorry guys. You guys are seeing all the things that happen here. There you go. Anyway, Scott's going to join me. We're going to do NFL. You get to watch me eat. Hope everybody, is there anybody in? No one's going to be, none of my guys are in the comments yet. It is what it is. I'm going to start using banners a lot more, which is fun, which will tell you. So I can tell you like right away that I'm going to have, oh, here he comes. I was just like, Scott's going to come because he's got nothing else to do.
What's going on? Exactly right. What's up?
What's going on? So hold on, I'm deleting,
what's going on? I'm tired. I've been watching Australian Open tennis every day.
Hey, we had that big win. We had a big win. I looked at my account this morning. I'm like, oh, I'm not as down as I thought. We had a really big Saturday, and then we literally chopped everything the rest of the weekend.
Pretty much. But I had a good overall tennis, say, day or so. I ended up sweeping. I did a couple podcasts for the men's side and the women's side. So the men's side, I swept both picks. For the women's side, I hit the first play, second place tonight. So going for the 4-0 sweep. We'll see what happens.
Are we going to bet them or what?
Maybe. The problem is trying to find a good price on the over 2.5 sets for that match because the line kind of moved. So the point is we'll see, but overall can't complain.
All right. Well, that is your line. Overall, I can't complain.
Yep. That is my line.
All right.
I'm too lazy to complain, even if things are going poorly. I'm just too lazy to do it.
Well, it's funny because sometimes you'll be on shows and someone will say, Scott, what they'll say something that the answer isn't can't complain. They'll say like, what's this and this? You'll be like, can't complain. And it's just like your whole monologue is always the same. All right, let's just do this. NFL. All right, tonight, the Rams and Vikings game. The more I thought about it, yeah, in a neutral. I mean, it's still West Coast. It's still like in a dome. There aren't a lot of attributes that I think are going to be completely different for this. It's also a 30-minute flight, as Kramer informed me. He said it's commuter flight. Like it is highly likely that a lot of people that had tickets to this anyway are going to fly in for it. It's not like an empty fucking stadium.
I personally expect more Vikings fans.
Well, Arizona generally does. Like Arizona games always generally do that, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
I just think Minnesota. I think Minnesota has more fans. I think that's probably why they're gonna have more people in there.
So that I would agree with. Who's like you're jumping in the comment? And Edwards under 6 looks good. Yes, thank you. All right, but here's the thing. So overall though, I do like the Rams though tonight. My wild, and I sent you the one play I've already done. Well, let me tell you, I like the Rams. I like the under. That's kind of where I'm at on this.
That's where I was at.
Okay, cool. I mean, my whole thing is that basically this is like exactly the type of McVay game that there's like a 50 that if you're getting better odds than a 50-50 shot on winning, I think you take them. Yeah, it's just, to me, this is like, this reminds me of every single like kind of Rams gritty game that I've seen for the last 3 years.
A reminder, by the way, the Rams already beat this team in the regular season. So it's not like, we haven't seen these teams face off against each other. And the fact is Stafford had 4 touchdowns. They were able to pick apart this defense. Darnold was really bad in the last game against the Lions. Now the Lions are also really good, but the question is, it's the biggest game of his entire career. So is Darnold going to shrink in the moment? Is he going to show up? But we know what we should be getting from Stafford. The problem is the Rams offense has really not been great lately. And that's kind of why I like the under in the game. The Rams have been a lot more, I'd say, ball control lately. Yeah. They've been trying to slow games down, at least in my experience, at least from what I've noticed over the last month. So I like the under. I think the Rams are going to try to drain a bunch of clock in this game.
Yep. I mean, 4-6 to the under, 4-6 to the under.
To be fair, the last game though had a massive over with Garoppolo, so you can kind of toss that one.
I'm tossing that one out. So okay, but so prop wise, it's time for Riley Green home run yet.
It's always time for Riley Green home run.
It's always time for Riley Green home runs. Okay, so first of all, I can tell you what I like right away, which ties into a lot of this. We're going to talk about it, but give me, I sent it to you this morning. Give me Sam Darnold INT. I know it's going to be a very popular play, and I really don't care. The reason why being I was looking back, and the Rams have generated a ton of picks, like a ton of picks. And if we believe that Darnold does the Darnold thing, then he's going to throw an interception. His interceptions have been Jordan Love-esque in the fact that they don't require a win or a loss. They just sort of happen. So while he's been pretty good lately, this is a primetime game. This was a primetime game. And let's see, the Green Bay one wasn't. He's quieted over the end, but I think he's gonna have a lot of pressure, and I think he's gonna have to throw a lot. And again, the Rams are a very good team on takeaways. I will take Sam Darnold at minus 115 to throw a pick.
I'm not against that. I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I wasn't sure if that was a bit too popular, of a play at this point where everyone might be overreacting to what happened in Detroit. But I do agree with it. I'll look at you.
He didn't throw any in Detroit. He didn't throw any.
No, but the fact is he still didn't play well. So now there's a thought in most people's minds that the moment might be too big for him. That's kind of the common, talking point about Darnold over the course of the week, which you might be right about, but I don't mind that at 115. I'm impressed he figured out how to use a banner.
Yeah, I know.
Look at you.
I'm 44.
I know. I see the play on the actual board now. Wow, we're moving up in the world.
I know. We're pretty crazy.
I didn't even teach you how to do that.
I know you didn't. That's that one's definitely on my card. The reason why the reason it is popular, but the reason why I really like it is because it's less about even like a moment being too big for him, and just he throws a lot of turnover worthy throws. Like he lucks out on the fact that Justin Jefferson is incredible, and our boy Addison is also really good. But yeah, like give me him to throw a pick. I didn't realize until I went through how many just like the Rams are like picked off everybody this year. And they're also just kind of gonna game plan for that. Both of our, I guess he's more your boss. Like I work for them, but I do way less content than you do, but
please, technically I'm freelance, please.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. For all contractual reasons, you're freelance, and I am too. But Sean Green brought up a really good point. That is, the thing with all of this and the move and stuff is you've given, and Kramer brought it up too, is that you've now given the Rams, which is a team that everyone can see is not as talented as everybody else, but like has like a little bit of oomph to it. You've given them a rallying thing to do, which is something that obviously you can't cap because of the fires. Needless to say, we spent a lot of time talking about this, but Sam Darnold INT, I am on. I like the number of takeaways that the Rams have. Had you had a chance to look at anything? Because I have another thing that I also do like, but we can kind of go through it.
Well, I know we always autoplay Aaron Jones receiving yards, so I was going to ask you if that was going to be autoplayed again.
Well, I think let's take a look at it. Or do we want one of our favorites to? So this is lower than it's been. Did he not go over it?
That's why I figured we might want it anyway. He went over against the Rams in the first meeting. I think he had 35 in that regular season game. 37, close enough.
Wow.
It's pretty low for a guy that's been consistently involved in the pass game, whether it involves screen pass, etc. I was trying to think of the reason why it has gone down. Is that associated with more Cam Akers usage? Like, I don't understand.
They've been giving Cam, so I like Cam Akers touchdown, just so you know, for price.
But I'm just wondering, is that why the line's lower? Because Akers is getting more work? Because it's a playoff game and Jones is still getting paid a decent amount of money.
How many reception? What's his reception line is?
I got to imagine it's a 2.5, right?
2.5, juiced to the over. I mean,
it's not even juiced. That's like heavily juiced. Like if he gets 3 catches, he's probably going over.
By the way, this is a really good prize picks entry though.
Okay.
It's minus 137 on prize picks. It's minus 156 everywhere else. It also went down. I don't know. Do we want the longest? Let's see. His longest has consistently gone down. But so his longest got bet up, but his receiving yards got bet down.
That sounds like we're taking the longest.
Sounds like we're taking the longest.
Because honestly, if he's getting there anyway, he's going to have
he has to get
catch.
it. So yeah, I mean, because it's the same. It's a screen pass. That's what it is.
Pretty much.
So let me just see if it. Do we want the 10? I don't think it matters. Let me just see what the hit. If there's a hit rate difference between 10.5 and 11, absolutely not. All right, let's take it. Yeah, we want that longest.
We wanted something on his receiving yards. We always do.
Yeah. And then I know that this is double dipping because we have him for the leader in rushing for everything. But I like I'm gonna do the Kyren Williams. I want the Kyren Williams combo. I just think he's just like there's a really good quote from you from our texts. Well, yeah, we were on a Zoom, but you said I just want to look at his rush attempts. You don't bring down a guy. You said it about Saquon Barkley. They said they didn't rest Saquon Barkley in week 18 so that they could not do anything with him.
And that's exactly what happened. They give Barkley about what do you end up with, like 25 carries?
25 carries. Do we want so let me ask you this. What do we want? Do we want to sweat out Kyren having a big game going over 100 combo, which I like, or do we want to go with the rush attempts? I'm now starting to trend towards wanting the rush attempts. It got bet down, but I don't really care. Like he had 13 in this game. In this well, he didn't even play last. He didn't play the week 18.
He didn't play last. They barely had the ball in that Cardinals game. That was
they barely had the ball in that game. That was a weird game.
Very. Nobody did anything offensively in that entire game.
Right. And he had 23 against them the first time. I mean, I just think that it's just going to be so much him and ball control.
I think the one difference, though, with him and Barkley from yesterday is the fact that the Eagles, we thought, would dominate the game. We went in and thought, the Eagles are going to be winning and they're going to be draining clock in the fourth quarter. This game might be more in the balance. I think that's kind of the difference here, where the Eagles had a much more, in my opinion, positive game script because we didn't think the Packers were that good. So we were expecting the Eagles to dominate the game. This game, I think, can be, once again, a one-possession game for a decent portion, and maybe the Rams eventually win by like 10. I think it's more of a one-possession game. So that's kind of the difference there.
Okay.
I'm not picking a blowout script for the Rams.
Right. Well,
I don't know if you are, but I'm not.
Well, they're just not built that way.
I think it's like the first meeting. I think it's very close. I think it's going to be, once again, a one-possession game. Maybe you end up getting the team trailing with a shot to win the game, a final drive in the final minute or two. But I think that's why I'm a bit scared off on the rush attempts, because I'm not sure the game script's going to be positive enough for them to just blindly hand him the rock for the last couple of minutes, like the Joe Mixon game or like the Barkley game. They had very good game scripts.
Well, why don't we take this? Then I think why don't we?
The yards I like. I just think the attempts might be a little bit. Unless you just want receiving, to be honest.
Kramer's on that too. I was just wondering. I mean, I just think that I think he's such a dynamic runner. It's really, I mean, like we got killed on Bucky receiving yards last night because they never used him other than in the end zone.
Yeah.
But so I guess if you had to ask, I don't even have the line in front of me, or I do, but I'm not looking at it.
Okay.
If I had to say to you, what are you guessing? Kyren Williams has on his rushing yards, rushing line. What would you say? You guessed it. Guess what it is.
Just guessing what his actual rushing yards is.
Yeah. What do you think? What like? Let's say he gets 18 carries. Is he getting 18 carries for what?
I mean, the Vikings are good against the run, but I can't tell if that's because they're so bad against the pass or they're actually good against the run. I think it's a mix of both. So if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 70. I don't know, like 74.5.
Oh, that's lower than what I thought. I have like 81. It's like in my head.
I was going to go a bit lower because I do think that the Vikings defense is more of a pass funnel. So that's kind of why I think they might just try to air it out a bit because you still have Kupp. You still have Kupp's receiving yards are very low, by the way.
But yeah, well, I like Kupp tonight. So
yeah.
like, I mean,
the point is, I would go lower on Kyren than most people tonight, just based on the yards, because I think that they're going to be promoting the pass mostly. But we can discuss.
Well, we are discussing. Here's my question then. Do you want to is there a Kyron? I like Kyron over rushing and receiving.
Okay.
Do we?
Can I just see the stats on the receiving yards by itself?
Yeah.
Because I know he killed this Vikings defense in the receiving game.
By the way, I'm going to do it with a game script of an under.
Okay, that's fine.
When it goes under, nothing happens.
Okay.
So it's really inconsequential. Just so that.
What did he have in the first meeting again, though? Didn't he have 30?
He had 19.
And 19. Okay.
How
many catches did he have in that game?
Yeah, I want to see what that was. It was. He had 5 catches
for only 19 yards. That's something.
Right. So that's kind of that's telling me. I mean, he just doesn't. Keep in mind. I mean, it's not as if he was the guy for it, but Blake Corum's hurt.
Yeah.
So
they don't really have a backup at all.
They don't actually have a backup.
5 catches for 19 yards, though. Like that tells you he's never really doing anything in the passing game. But on the other end, that also tells you they want to get him involved, but they don't want to run the ball.
But why would you not? Why would you not want to run the ball? This number's gone up. I don't know why you wouldn't want to run the ball.
I'm just saying because it might just come back to the Vikings' pass defense not being very good.
Okay, well then let me tell you a play though that I do like a lot that leans into what the Vikings aren't good at. Do we want Stafford passing attempts over? If we want, because here's the thing: if we want Stafford passing attempts over, we don't want Kyren Williams stuff at all. Because we're basically splitting ourselves.
Well, I was going to say, I don't have the Rams' time of possession numbers over the last couple games in front of me, but according to what I'm looking at, they're not good at time of possession. And neither are the Vikings are fine. The Vikings are 15th. So you might actually see some quick drives here.
So the number's been bet up, but Stafford's gone under. Stafford's actually gone under this. This is one of those, is this too good to be true type of thing.
He barely went over against Minnesota in the first game, though, and they had a good game script.
Yeah. So what are we thinking here? Minnesota is, again, bottom of the league in this.
They're just such a pass funnel. That's kind of the problem I run into here. Then again, Gibbs also had 4 touchdowns against them about a week ago. But
right. Well, which I understand is probably that's Gibbs trashed this team.
Yeah.
Gibbs trashed this team.
He's also a good player.
I don't think Kyren Williams is a bad player.
No, he's fine. I think Gibbs is better.
I think Kyren Williams is a player in an LA media market, so no one actually really has seen him play.
I mean, it's juicy, but if we're mentioning Gibbs, do we want to take Kyren touchdown at -140? Is that too juicy? What are we looking at?
No, I don't. I mean,
they have no backup running back. They love to get him touched. He has a touchdown in 5 of the last 6 games that he's played.
So then this goes back to it though, man. So we have 3 plays that are sort of on the table, 4 plays that are sort of on the table. Stafford passing attempts, one way or another.
Mm.
Kyren,
some
rush
form of
receiving,
yards, yeah.
Which I think the rush receiving is what we want.
Okay.
Are we completely out on rush attempts? Because you're kind of making the case for rush attempts.
It's correlated to the Stafford attempts, though. So we're kind of in the same boat.
Right, exactly. So we can't take both. A touchdown, you and I agree that'll probably be in a parlay. I think that's a fine parlay piece. So really what it comes down to is, do we think that Stafford is under in his pass attempts, or do we and therefore we like the Kyren, because if we're getting a healthy dosage of Kyren, we're getting a healthy dosage of Kyren.
I mean, realistically, if we think the Rams win the game, which we do,
then
Kyren's probably getting 20-something plus rush.
I think we want the rush attempts.
Okay.
Because I think we're protected in that more so than what we are in the Stafford thing. Yes, Vikings are a pass funnel. Vikings are also going to get to Stafford a lot. We know that. He has bad feet and they blitz.
They also like to run the ball to set up play actions. They have a lot of reasons to run the ball anyway.
Right. So I think the biggest cap on this is that there's nobody else to have the ball.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, okay. Are we in agreement then? We want,
yeah, it's fine.
But then now that we've got it down to Kyren, we want Kyren rush attempts more so than we have the rush attempts at 150. It's an off market price too.
Unless you think that he actually is going to potentially break one, you'd rather have the yards, but
would you?
What are his yards at again?
I'm off 84. I'm looking at this is the real stuff that everybody gets to see, guys. And I already told my next call. I'm like, I'm gonna be late to this. So
I'm trying to think if I could see a game where he ends up with like 22 carries for like 60 something yards. Is there like
Minnesota?
A really
by the way, Minnesota. Like, if we are, I am looking on FTN on another window. Minnesota, since we like to do since week 12, right?
Yeah.
So let me just look.
About a month or two of sample. That's kind of what we use.
So 16, and do we care? We do care about week 18.
Yeah,
for both
tossing on week 18.
No, we do care. We want this in there
for Minnesota. We do, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Minnesota. So just in terms of so since week 12, Minnesota has the 14th mid for yards per carry.
Okay.
They are 11th, like, so under 1,000 yards in terms of attempts. They've had the some of they're on the bottom half of like attempts. I guess let me just see. Actually, here's what I care about is first downs. Okay, so they've given up 51 first downs since week 12 via the rush. God, Carolina 85, by the way, to lead it. So that's good enough for 9th. I actually have to throw out Carolina because Carolina is so bad against the rush that because the next closest
they sway
is
all
Chicago.
Yeah,
they sway everything. The next closest is Chicago at 61. So basically, Minnesota is in the front half of giving up is in the lower half or lower 10, lower 8, really. They're the 8th worst since week 12 in terms of giving up first downs via the rush, which tells me we want the rush attempts.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, let's.
We talked it out.
Yeah, no, I think that's just because, like, I just don't. Do we really see a world where he's getting like we can look at his rush yards, but like, is he really doing this on? I mean, he did 15 carries against New Orleans, who's got the worst rushing defense in the league. He got over the rushing yards against the Patriots barely. He got over the rush. He barely got over that was a shootout, so that doesn't count.
It sounds like we want the yards now, though.
No. I'm just saying. No. I'm making the case for the attempts.
I'm saying, but you're mentioning how many like overall yards he's had and how he's had a couple of decent yardage games without getting.
Well, no. My point that I'm making is that the attempts is important against
against good run defenses because the Saints are bad against the. Okay, I get it. Okay.
So anyway, we talked a bunch about it, but let's do the rush attempts then.
All right, that's fine.
All right, let's do it. Cool. And I see our guy Closing Dime is in here. Took a plus EV early in the day on his over receiving yards. Puka's one of the best guys in the league. I'm kind of looking to see a little bit more though on Cooper Kupp because let me just look at what the Puka yards are. We talked about it earlier, but I still want to. I don't want to sweat 92 Puka yards. So
Kupp is so low. I mean, they're pricing
Kupp is really low. Hold on a second. Let's put the Kyron over 20.5 rush attempts. We had it at 115. I'm just adding a banner. Boom. Look at that. I just would rather take Kupp because it's so low. Yeah,
they are really pricing him like he's completely washed,
and he's not. And so, like, I love the receptions.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I like receptions. It's 4.5, and it's cheap.
4.5.
132.
Yeah, that's a great price. I mean, this is this could be a classic Cup game, man.
He doesn't even need the yards
because he doesn't even need the yards. And also, that's the thing. If you're going against a team that's on the blitz, then all you have to do is throw it out to him on the side. He doesn't have to pick it up. It becomes a volume play.
It's also about like the priorities of the defense here because you got Brian. Of course, you got Flores, who is willing to get creative, and he's still a very good DC in my opinion. I got to imagine priority one is to stop Puka, right? I mean, I got to imagine the disparity now between Puka and.
I mean, to CD's point, like I love Puka. I like CD. Just so it's clear, Puka probably. I mean, Puka had 181 in one.
Puka's a great player.
Puka's a great player and is still, in my opinion, underrated.
He still could go over. I'm just saying. I think it might set up a good opportunity to buy low on Kupp if you.
I think it's a really good buy low on Kupp. At 132, it's also just like. Looking at compared to the rest of the market is moving like way up on this.
I mean, Cup's all. I mean, you're looking at once again Puka being also a big play guy, so that might open up stuff underneath for Cup, which eventually you might go over on Puka if he catches a bomb. You don't need the bomb for Cup. He's gonna be catching a bunch of 5-yard passes.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Let's do that one. All right, and then probably let's find one last thing on the other side. What do we like?
Did we want to just bet the under and stuff without actually props? Did we want to just take the under?
I kind of want to. So I have a better idea. I want to tease up the Rams
with the under. That's fine.
No, with Detroit. With Detroit down to 2.5.
I think I already took Detroit with Kansas City.
We did, but I really want to bet Detroit more. Okay. I mean, you can do it.
You
also
really don't like the commies. You're like McCarthy in the 60s. You just don't. I thought
their Reds. I'm adding this here, so it's like Cup over. What do we have? 4.5 receptions minus 130. I think it was 2. Here, I'm just adding that banner here, as everyone can see. There it is, Cup. I thought that their red zone offense was atrocious.
It was. They kept going for it on fourth down.
They kept going for it on fourth down, but the thing, which is fine. But like the play that they should have been running on the goal line, and this isn't a commies show, but this is like they ran that in the middle of the field with Mariota, perfectly fine, and then they didn't run it on the goal line. Needless to say, yeah. By the way,
I thought you would have enjoyed my McCarthy communism joke, and that just went right over your head. Now I'm kind of sad about it.
No. I liked it. Okay, so actually, you want to do that? You want to tease the Rams up with the under?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, if we think the Rams keep the game close and we think it's going to be a lower scoring game anyway, then I mean, every game's gone under, right, in the postseason so far? I think every game went under.
I think every game went under. Yeah.
Wait,
no, we had one that went. Yeah, didn't our Pittsburgh game went over? Steelers game went over.
It went under closing, but yes.
Oh, it did?
I think it closed 45.5.
Oh, okay. Well, then nice. Okay.
No, we didn't get the over in Pittsburgh. We needed a score.
We needed a score, and we didn't get it.
Yeah, I think every game went under.
All right. So Darnold interception, Aaron Jones longest reception, the Kyren Williams rushing attempts, the Cooper Kupp receptions. Do we not want any other skill players on Minnesota? I just want to make sure.
Unless you want to throw Addison in there or Jefferson.
God, he's so much fun.
Those are the only two I'd be tempted by.
I just think this game gets slowed down so much that I don't think it's good. I mean, I feel like we're hedging against ourselves, you know?
I get what you mean. I mean, unless you wanted to make an argument for Hawkinson because the Rams are really bad against tight ends.
I think Hawkinson is still hurt.
I was going to say, he hasn't really been involved that much anyway. He's been fine. He had 8 yards against the Lions last week, but they're good against tight ends.
This is a really high like for Addison. I think we're getting just such good value on Kupp. Kupp's receiving line was 6.5.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a great discount here.
It's a great versus Addison 60.
Yeah.
I would rather bet Addison. I bet you it's on FanDuel and I don't have it in front of me. But I would rather bet an Addison. I'd rather bet an Addison 30 bomb at like plus 140 than he's not even really actually a bomb guy. He's just a yak guy.
What he is really good. That's what he is.
He's very good. Let me just take a quick look. I'm just taking a quick look on the passing side to see if anything since week 12 stands out from for the Rams. And Rams have been, they've given up a lot of passing yards. They've given up a lot of completion. Minnesota's given up the most completions in the league, by the way, by a mile. If that's something that we want to mess around with. LA is like,
I know the offense has been a mess lately for LA. They've been winning games, but it's not been
winning games. Yeah, this is just, I'd rather tease up LA in that and then call it a day on this thing. How many receiving 300-yard? Minnesota's given up 3 300-yard games since week 12.
Yeah. Do you think Stafford's injured, by the way, or like what's up with their offensive production?
I think he's old.
Okay.
I think he's just been hurt. I think he's been hit a lot, like, to be totally honest.
Yeah, back in Detroit too. I see Porter asking about Stafford rushing yards. We didn't talk about.
Let's look. We can look at it. The problem is we think they win.
Well, because you get some kneel downs with that.
Yeah.
Well, we can compare rushing yards with rush attempts. So we actually could compare that.
That's a better. So one.
It's half a yard.
I get the logic because it's if he's getting blitzed,
he needs one scramble for probably like 3 yards. If you think they win 3 yards, maybe.
Yeah, let me just see what I don't even. Am I not seeing?
Well, you can scroll down. Rush attempts are going to be at the bottom. They have like the supporting.
No. I mean, it being offered as a market.
Oh, I doubt it.
No, his rush attempts though per game. He had 6 against Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota's number 1 in the league in rushing yards allowed to the quarterback. I don't know if I really want to take this.
I'm trying to think if he would even do sneaks. I imagine he would do sneaks because he's done it before.
Yeah, it's just they do other things with that.
They're sweating a potential kneel down there too.
I don't know if I like it.
You honestly might be able to bet that live. Like if he has no rushing yards at halftime and the Rams are either winning or losing, you could probably like determine an outcome there based on game script, you know?
Yeah. There's also I mean, there's like let's looking at some things that have kind of just moved by. Let's also just look. I just want to see.
I wanted nothing to do with the kicking props today, by the way.
But I don't either. I don't like either of these kickers. Well, we like Gay.
If I can get a prop on Riker to miss a field goal, I would consider taking that at a decent plus money price, but that of course doesn't exist because he's been really bad.
He's been really bad. Let me look at what we have on my filters. Rams over the first half.
Team total.
Yeah, but have they done that?
Well, they've been bad offensively lately anyway.
They've been bad offensively anyway. And then his rushing yards during the Rams Super Bowl is automatic. That was also like 3 years ago. This is a very different team. And so which I get it. By the way, Porter, we're gonna have baseball soon. And Scott and I are gonna do some baseball stuff at some point. All right,
we have a prop show on SGPN.
We have a prop show. Our EV options. I feel like this ends up with us having too much liability on the Rams.
Yeah, that's fine.
But like this Stafford under passing attempts it seems fun, but it's also getting bet up. So
I'm trying to think. Do we think there's a realistic world where Stafford goes over this if the Rams win? Because he went over in the first meeting.
Here's how we do it. We look at it right now. When they win, he's under it in every game.
But
that they've
won, except the Vikings game earlier this year.
Except for the Vikings game, which is why it's probably getting bet up.
So you think it's getting bet up either because of the first meeting or because people think Minnesota's going to win?
I also don't think it matters. Like Closing Dime has pointed this out a couple times. Like you and I both know this. I think that if we want the sharp book on this is going to be FanDuel. So he's talking about Robinson. I guess Porter. My issue is I don't want more Rams. I'm trying to make a case on the other side of like what could happen with who's a Vikings guy that I want to buy other than Aaron Jones?
I don't want Robinson anyway. I'm not sure if he's going to be sober for the game. That's a DUI. That's a DUI joke, by the way. Do you miss that?
Yeah. Let me just look. Stafford passing TDs under. I don't want that. A lot of that's just an ultra contrarian.
Well, I was going to actually ask, can you go back to that Stafford pass attempts? Because I actually wanted to see what his percentage hit rate was when they lose. You looked up when they win. I'm curious what happens when they lose.
All right, when they lose, it goes way over.
Okay, but I feel like that's basically
it goes like way. So it's way over.
It's basically like taking Rams money line though. If you go with the under, because they have to win the game. Well, that's kind of the point,
right? So I mean, we end up with a lot of Rams liability.
I'd rather not bet that. I feel like it's too correlated to the Rams winning.
Yeah, that's it's like a cup. I think is a matchup. Like the cup play, I think is great because it's if they're behind, they're going to go to him.
Yeah.
If not, they're going to get him going early.
It's honestly one though, like piece of advice though, if you are looking for player props, always factor in potential game scripts because once again, you might like Stafford to go over his attempts. If you do, and you could same game parlay it, you might want to also take the Vikings to win because when Stafford ends up going under the pass attempts. And you could potentially same game parlay that with the Rams to win. The hit rate is significantly higher. So you can find some correlated, outcomes here.
Porter wants us to look at Naylor.
He was very good earlier in the year.
Yeah, and he started getting going again the last couple of weeks. I would do a longest for him.
His receptions are a 1.5.
Yeah, because so you just want like his longest, if anything. I mean, I got to see. I don't even know. I wish I could see what Rams A dot is.
Is he like the Iavasas of the Vikings?
Yeshivas, you mean?
Yeshivas?
Basically
Basically that guy on the Vikings. Is that what he is?
I don't. It's just like I like him. He's okay. Oh, Cam Akers has an illness. I didn't know that.
Everyone has an illness now in sports. It's actually a big deal. A lot of NBA players have missed games. So maybe Akers gets less work anyway.
I mean, Naylor's gotten it the last 2 times. He had a 9 against LA the last time.
Well, can I just see his catches in total over the last couple games?
Yeah, hold on.
I was gonna say you could just go to supporting on the bottom, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not just take the receptions if I was gonna take something on Naylor?
I mean, he goes over if he goes over. This is only on the last 5.
I was gonna say though, do I really want to thread the needle on like? I don't know if I want to thread the needle on the longest if he can catch multiple passes.
Yeah, I mean, do we want Naylor?
If we wanted Naylor, I think I'd want receptions. But wait,
Yeah.
let me see his targets lately. What are his targets at?
He has 6% of the target share.
Okay.
He had
no, but let me just see the numbers.
Oh, he had 5 and 4. Otherwise non-existent.
Okay. It's been more involved. I mean, that was an important game though. The last couple.
These last 2 games are really important,
and he was involved.
And he was involved. So I kind of want to do. I'd rather take. I actually do want to add Naylor over 1.5 receptions because I think that.
Do you prefer receptions or yards?
I mean, he's crushing this either way. But you just said. I mean, what do you?
I think I want the receptions, but
I think I want the receptions. It's the same price.
Yeah,
same price, and he needs it. He's not like that's the thing. It's the same price. It's the same. It's literally the same price, and he needs it for it to happen.
Pretty much. And what was the longest again?
12.5.
Okay.
I mean, he has to get 2 every time he gets 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's a very silly sweat and like 4 targets. So he has to have a 50% catch rate on those targets. I mean, that's kind of what I would rather. I'd rather do that. I think I do want this because like you said, these last 2 games have been extremely important games and they got him involved. It doesn't seem like he got involved at all. Okay, that Detroit game was important for
I was going to say, they're also getting buried in that Detroit game. But Naylor plays about 50% of the snaps. Like, he's on the field more than you might think.
Two receptions in that last Rams game. He actually shows up for the big games, man.
He plays 50% of the snaps.
Okay, so then what do we want? Final decision.
We'll go with the receptions.
Okay, cool. So we have a card of Darnold interception, Jones longest reception, Kyron rushing attempts, Cooper receptions, and Naylor receptions.
I see Brandon asking about Puka carries or Puka rushing yards. They're actually kind of like.
I like it. I just got so burned on a Jaden Reed one yesterday that we had like 20% CLV gain. That
was a great deal, and then he died.
That was a great deal, and it died. And he broke his arm.
Well, it died because he died.
It died because he died. He broke his arm is the issue.
Do they have Puka rushing listed?
Let's look. And
that'd be the last thing that I would add potentially.
And then I got to jump. So
they love to get Puka involved in the jet sweep stuff, as they should, because he's a very good player.
He's just a very good player.
That's one thing I'll give McVay props for. He constantly gets the He gets the ball in his best player's hands. All the
rush
time.
Yards 2.5.
That's so low.
That's so low. It either happens or it doesn't. Is really what it is.
Did he have it against Minnesota in the first game?
Yep, he had 5.
I might add that. To be honest,
he had 2 carries. Oh well, then what do you want to drop? Because we can't have 7 plays.
Yeah, I know.
You want to get rid of Naylor?
Do you?
I mean, we have no liability on that side other than Aaron Jones. I kind of like Naylor, but Naylor seems to be important in big games.
Unless you wanted to toss out Kyron, but it sounds like you like Kyron.
I like Kyron a lot, but I'm willing to drop Kyron.
I think 20.5 still a lot of, because you needed the game script to still go in your favor. So I'd probably toss out Kyron.
All right, well, let's take out Kyron. Then let's do Darnold, Jones longest, Cup receptions, Naylor receptions, Puka rush.
That's fine. 2.5 for Puka though, like that is good for at least one.
It's also considerably the price is pretty off market too. Okay.
Unlike Reed, he also plays 99% of the snaps. So he should be on the field the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that play.
All right, cool. All right, that's it, guys. Then we did it. Let me get that out there. And Porter, just like when you get me to bet Riley Green, you talked me into this. Okay. Scott, I'm gonna send this to you right now.
You can take the cup banner down, by the way.
No, I don't want. I'm really excited.
If you want to rotate your plays, I guess. I don't know.
There you go. I don't know. It's fine. It's gone. Okay. All right, Scott, where's everybody gonna find you?
Find me on Twitter at Ricer Radio. Find me on SGPN. I'm on the NBA show. I have the tennis show as well, baseball show, which I'll be doing a prop cast with you on SGPN. So we're going to be doing a prop show a couple times a week as well on that, which should be fun, starting when the season starts, obviously. And besides that, once again, can't complain.
There you go. All right, cool. Scott, I'll talk to you in like an hour. Everybody else, good luck with your bets. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. If your cash is welcome, if not, forget I said anything from Brandon Porter. He's my favorite guy. I love him. All right, cool. All right, guys. Good luck with your bets. Thanks again.